Hey, it's Jati Jones, and welcome to the webinar 5 Steps to Getting Unstuck and Start Dating the Women You're Truly Attracted to. So, you're in the right place if you've been at this for a year or more and you've been stuck for a year or more, or even 10 years. I've helped guys who've been stuck for even 10 years. You're around 28 years of age or older. You want to find a quality woman who you're genuinely attracted to, and you want to start a long-term relationship with her. You want to start attracting and dating the same kinds of women you see all around you every day when you go around in the city and you're seeing those really hot, beautiful women and you're thinking to yourself, wow, I'd like one of those women. That's what we're going to talk about. What's the strategy to get those women? Okay. And you're in the right place if you're sick of all the time wasting bullshit information out there on dating and attraction, and you just want the truth. Okay. You just want to know what's going to get you unstuck and getting results. You're thinking to yourself, it's 2018. I've been stuck for a while now. I don't have any more time to waste. I'm not getting any younger. I just want the answers. I just want the results now. And in the next 45 minutes we have together today, I'm going to do my best to give you those answers so you can get unstuck once and for all. So, who am I? I date the women I'm truly attracted to. This is a picture of me with my dream girl. This is my woman. This is my lady. I'm absolutely head over heels in love with her, and I feel very lucky and blessed to have her. And I want the same for you. I want you to find your life partner. I want you to get with that, to find your dream woman. I've been teaching men how to attract and date women ever since 2009. I exist as a stand for your greatness, a stand for your right to have women in your life. And not only women, but women you're genuinely attracted to. And when I say attracted, I mean on all levels, okay? Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. You deserve to have a woman in your life who you're attracted to on all levels. My specialty is I get men unstuck. So, men come to me who have been stuck, not getting results with women for 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, even 10 years. And then I take those men and through coaching, I get them unstuck in a period of between 3 to 6 months on average. And get them attracting and dating women they're genuinely attracted to so they can eventually find their dream woman. So I don't believe in average. I don't believe in settling. I say all or nothing. So when clients work with me, our agreement is that you either go for exactly what you want or you do nothing. There's no in between. There's no gray zone. We do not settle. So in the next 45 minutes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a no bullshit 5-part formula for getting this woman thing handled once and for all. This will give you your power back so you never have to worry about ending up alone. This is a timeless webinar, meaning that whether you watch it today or you watch it 5 years from now, the principles that I'm going to outline for you here, you're going to be able to use in your life for the rest of your life. So what I'm going to do today is I'm not going to give you some fancy temporary routines or pickup lines or tricks. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a timeless strategy that you can use for the rest of your life to bring attractive women into your life. So I'm not going to give you a fish. I'm going to teach you how to fish. As the saying goes, give a man a fish, he has food for a day. Teach a man how to fish, and he has food for a lifetime. I'm going to give you a solution for getting over your paralyzing fear for good, so you can make a move when it matters the most. I'm going to show you how to crash through that invisible wall that's blocking you from getting dates with those sexy, beautiful women you see all around you every day. And you're going to discover how to do all of this in a natural, authentic way that doesn't force you to do anything ridiculous or anything that violates your values or your integrity. Using these methods I'm about to outline, you can attract beautiful women by being yourself. So here's my promise for you today. And it's a simple promise. I don't believe in these big, outlandish, fancy promises. I'm not going to promise you magic. This is not a magic pill. What I'm going to give you today is a 5-step, step-by-step strategy for getting unstuck once and for all so you can start bringing attractive women into your life on command. So, does this sound like you? Do you start off every day wondering where you're going to meet the ideal woman you're wanting to start a relationship with? Are you frustrated because you can comfortably talk to normal women, but you freeze up around the really hot ones? Are you sick of casual dating and are at the point where you're wanting something more meaningful, like finding a woman you're truly attracted to and starting a long-term relationship with her? Are you starting to get secretly worried that it might be too late? Do you fear that you may never find that dream girl and will have to settle for a woman you're not genuinely attracted to? Do you feel like you're trapped behind an invisible wall and you just don't know how to break through to the other side? And you'd really like someone to help you with that without bullshitting you or lying to you or wasting your time, just telling you the truth for once? And do you wish you had someone to share your life with so you don't have to go at everything alone? This is a big one. A lot of guys are telling me, man, I just want someone to share my life with. I want someone to enjoy, to go through life with and enjoy experiences with. And finally, do you feel like there's an invisible wall keeping you from dating these beautiful women you see all around you every day? Do you walk around your city every day and see all these beautiful women all around you and think to yourself, look at all these beautiful women all around. Can't I get just one? So what's blocking you? What's stopping you? I know you've tried hard. I know you've sought out a lot of information, but you're still stuck. So what's the real problem? The real problem is that you're using the wrong strategy. The reason why men are stuck for 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years is because they're going at this in completely the wrong way. And I'm about to show you the right way to go about this so you can get yourself unstuck for good. So once you shift your strategy, you'll have complete control over getting dates with women you're truly attracted to whenever you want. You'll have the confidence to talk to attractive women anytime, anywhere, in a playful, relaxed, and confident manner, while knowing exactly how to ask them out in a cool, casual way that never comes off as creepy or weird. You're going to know the exact step-by-step strategy you need in order to create an abundance of women in your life for the rest of your life. In a few minutes, I'm going to show you, and you're going to realize the invisible wall on your dating life was never really there. And you're going to push through and start dating very attractive and intelligent women faster than you ever thought possible. And you'll do all of this while tapping into the innocent joy you first had when you were a young boy chasing girls in the playground. So here's the one thing you need to know. There are 5 simple strategy shifts you need to make to start getting dates with intelligent, attractive women, the quality women you want to date. I'm going to walk you through exactly how to make those shifts today. Discovering the 5 strategies. Okay, so right now, I want you to stop multitasking, put your phone on silent, turn it upside down, close any other browsers you have. If you were doing something else, stop, watch, and listen, because these 5 strategies are the keys to your freedom. This is what's going to get you unstuck. I've been coaching guys for 10 years using this exact framework to get men who have been stuck for 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, even 10 years. I've taken them through this process that I'm about to share with you, and they got unstuck in a matter of 1 month, 3 months, or 6 months. So, if you want to get unstuck, focus, listen, and pay very close attention. Number 1, the trying harder trap. So, people's reflex when they're not getting results with women is to do what? To try harder. So, let me tell you a little story. This story is from a book from Price Pritchett, and it goes like this. It's just past noon, late July, and I'm listening to the desperate sounds of a life or death struggle going on a few feet away. There's a small fly burning out the last of its short life's energies in a futile attempt to fly through the glass of the window pane. The whining wings tell the poignant story of the fly's strategy. Try harder, but it's not working. The frenzied effort offers no hope for survival. Ironically, the struggle is part of the trap. It is impossible for the fly to try hard enough to succeed at breaking through the glass. Nevertheless, this little insect has staked its own life on reaching its goal through raw effort and determination. This fly is doomed. It will die there on the windowsill. Across the room, 10 steps away, the door is open. 10 seconds of flying time, and this small creature could reach the outside world it seeks. With only a fraction of the effort now being wasted, it could free itself of this self-imposed trap. The breakthrough possibility is there. It would be so easy. Why doesn't the fly try another approach? Something dramatically different. How did it get so locked in on the idea that this particular route and determined effort offer the most promise for success? What logic is there in continuing until death to seek a breakthrough with more of the same? No doubt this approach makes sense to the fly. Regrettably, it's an idea that will kill. Trying harder isn't necessarily the solution to achieving more. It may not offer any real promise for getting what you want out of life. Sometimes, in fact, it's a big part of the problem. If you stake your hopes for a breakthrough on trying harder than ever, you may kill your chances for success. This story is the same story of millions of men around the world who are stuck. They think that if I only accumulate more information, watch more YouTube videos, buy more $47 ebooks, and go out and try harder, that I am going to get a different result. The truth is this, and I want you to listen to this very carefully. That strategy may work for the guy who hasn't been stuck. But if you've been stuck for 1 year or more, then I'm sure you've gone out and you've tried hard. I'm sure you've accumulated a lot of information. But if after a year or more you're still stuck by using that strategy, then it's time to stop. Stop using that strategy because obviously it's not working. More information and more dogged effort are not going to get you unstuck. If they were, you would have been unstuck by now. If more information were the answer to your problem, there is an abundance of free and paid information out there. So if information was your problem, you would have been unstuck by now. So I really want you to wake up because you're looking for the wrong thing. And if you're looking for the wrong thing, guess what, my friend? You're never going to find it. Let me further demonstrate with a parable. So there's this farmer sitting on his porch, reading his paper, just relaxing, enjoying the day. All of a sudden, a man on a horse comes up, all frantic and panicked, and says, "Excuse me, fine sir, how do I get to the king's castle?" The farmer looks at the man, very relaxed, and says, "Well, you can't get there from here." Confused, the man looks at the farmer, gets back on his horse, and gallops away. So, the moral of the story is this. You can't get there from here. So, when men come to me and they say, "Jad, I've been stuck for 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, and my strategy is to try harder and to accumulate more information," what I say to that man is, "I'm sorry, dear brother, but you can't get there from here." Information does not cause transformation. If you have been stuck for 1 year or more, then more information is not the answer. You cannot get there from here. What you need to do is change your thinking, change your approach. In neurolinguistic programming, they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, but expecting a different result. If you want to change your results, you have to change the way you think. You have to change the way you do things. You have to change your strategy. Einstein said, "You cannot solve a problem at the same level of thinking in which it was created." And so now together, we are rising ourselves to a new level of thinking, a higher level of thinking, in order to solve this problem. And in the next steps, I'm going to give you the step-by-step strategy of what you need to do. And it does not include accumulating more information or going out and just pushing harder. There's a much better way, a much faster way, and a much less painful way. And so in conclusion of this slide, what I want you to take away from this first lesson is it's not about trying harder. It's about changing your approach, elevating your level of thinking, and using proven strategies that work. And in conclusion to this slide, we will say this. It's not about trying harder. It's not about accumulating more information. It's about changing your approach, changing your strategy, elevating your thinking to another level. You need to work smarter, not harder. All those men out there who are getting results, they're just doing things a little bit differently than you, and that's why they're getting the results. And I'm going to show you exactly what they're doing step by step, and once you plug those strategies into your life, you're going to start getting the same results. Okay, so this is where we really get into the meaty part of the content. Never walk the path alone. One of the most common errors and causes of men being stuck with women for 1 year or more is that they walk the path alone. For the past 15 years now, 15 years plus, I have been in the exclusive study of human performance and seduction. I am the first person in the world who has combined high performance with the laws of seduction, married those two together, and created a philosophy around them. The reason I did this is because very early on I recognized something. I recognized that you can go out and you can teach a man all about seduction and what to do and what to say and how the psychology of seduction works. But if that is not founded on a man's ability to go out and translate that information into action, into productivity, into effective action, then the information is useless. And so to teach a man only about seduction without also giving him the principles of performance, how do you go out and have high performance out in the world? You're just doing him a disservice. So I studied a lot of the seducers and Success Leaves Clues. And one commonality I found amongst all of them is that they were successful in other areas of their lives, which meant that they understood the fundamental principles of success. And so that's why I recognized very early on that when I'm teaching men how to get good with women, I need to also teach them the principles of success and the principles of high performance. How can you go and turn this into action? Because in the end of the day, the only thing that matters is action. The only thing that matters is results. Okay, so getting back to walking the path alone. What I've found when I observed men over the past 10 years, I observed that the people, because I have a YouTube channel and thousands of people follow me, and I follow the progress of some men who keep in contact with me. And without exception, the men who went at it alone are still stuck today. Whereas the men who sought out help, either through masterminding locally or hiring me as a coach or getting a mentor, finding some other mentor, those guys got the breakthroughs. The guys who go at it alone, they're still stuck. So I want to right now paint a picture for you, because if you've been stuck for a year or more, then I will bet my money that you've been going at this completely alone or predominantly alone. So I want you to think of this, okay? Let's talk about the tennis player Roger Federer, okay? Roger Federer, champion tennis player. How ridiculous would it look if Roger came up to you and said, hey, you know what? I'm going to be a professional tennis player, and I also want to be the champion. And so my strategy is I'm going to go on YouTube and I'm going to browse random videos about how to be good at tennis, how to improve my backhand, how to serve. And so I'm just going to accumulate, and I'm also going to buy some $47 ebooks about tennis. I'm going to study those. And then I'm just going to go play on my own. And then I don't want to waste money on a coaching staff or a physiotherapy or a nutritionist or a mindset coach or any of those. I'm not going to spend any of that money. I'm going to save the money in my bank account. And I'm just going to go out and practice on my own. And I'm not going to surround myself with other tennis players who are great. I'm just going to play with whoever's available. Okay, so if that was his approach, would you bet money on him even getting to the professional level? Let's say he was saying all this stuff when he was a kid. Okay, would you bet any money on him reaching being pro, let alone becoming a champion? No, of course not. It's ridiculous. Any champion needs a supporting team. Behind every champion is a supporting team. If we look at any movie or any story, such as Mike Tyson and his coach, Rocky and his coach, the Karate Kid and Mr. Miyagi, there's always a mentor. There's always someone supporting. There's always a supporting staff. But yet when it comes to women, men all of a sudden think that the laws no longer apply. The laws of success no longer apply. Okay, yeah, if you want to be a pro athlete, or if you want to be a successful businessman, or if you want to be learn guitar or whatever, then you're gonna hire people, you're gonna mastermind with people, you're gonna have a supporting staff. But when it comes to women, then the logic disconnects, and they think, oh, I can just do it alone. I can just browse on YouTube. I can just buy some $47 ebooks, and then I'm gonna have a breakthrough in performance. That's just as ridiculous. If you've been stuck for 1 year or more, then the reason why you're stuck is because you're going at it alone, you're not using the support of others, and you're violating the laws of performance, the laws of success. I'll solidify this with another story. So one of my favorite books is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill was commissioned by the richest man in the world, Dale Carnegie. I forgot the exact year. But the Dale Carnegie hired Napoleon Hill, and he said, I'm going to give you my Rolodex, and you're going to have access to 500 of the most successful and rich men in the world. And you can go and interview them. You can go and study them. I want you to spend 25 years of your life observing these men and coming up with a philosophy of success. Said more simply, I want you to find what all these rich people have in common and put them down into a step-by-step blueprint so that other people can follow in order to become successful. So Napoleon Hill spent 25 years of his life in the exclusive study of the patterns of successful people. What makes one man successful and one man fail? And at the end of that 25-year study, he came to this conclusion. He said, no man can achieve great wealth or success without using the mastermind. Said more simply, no man can achieve great wealth or success alone. So a mastermind is a group of 2 or more people working in harmony towards a specific goal. So Napoleon Hill, who spent 25 years of his life in the exclusive study of the principles of success, at the end came to the conclusion when looking at all these 500 people, and you want to compare these people to if it was today, it would be Steve Jobs, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates. We're talking about the richest of the rich. After all those people had in common the fact that they did not go at it alone. So if you're going to argue with Napoleon Hill, who spent 25 years of his life surrounded by the most successful men, saying that you cannot succeed alone, if you will proceed after this slide, after this presentation, to continue going at this women thing alone, even though you're stuck, then you have no one but yourself to blame because you're using the wrong strategy. Those who go at this alone perish. Period. I've been doing coaching for the past 10 years, and I have seen this pattern every time. I can bet money. I can predict with startling accuracy a man's future performance with women. And unfortunately, I'm right most of the time. I can tell when a guy's going to stay stuck, and I can tell when he's going to win. And the difference between the two is simply their strategy. So, strategy mind shift number 2. You cannot cheat the laws of nature. You cannot cheat the laws of success. The laws of success are as consistent as the laws of nature. If you walk off a cliff, whether you're a good person or you're a bad person, you're going down because gravity doesn't care. Gravity is a law. Well, the laws of success follow laws as well. And so if you do not use the mastermind principle, it does not matter how hard you work, it does not matter how much information you gather, and it does not matter how good of a person you are. You are violating the law of success, which states that no man can achieve great wealth or success alone. So start masterminding with other people. Otherwise, you will stay stuck. I've seen it too many times. I don't want you to be another statistic that I hear of. Now later in step 5, I'm going to show you how you can actually amplify the mastermind principle and set yourself up to win much faster than the average guy. Okay, so now we're on strategy shift number 3. Information overload causes paralysis. So fear is one of the biggest blockers of men. It blocks them from taking action in those key moments where it matters most, where you see that drop dead gorgeous woman and you have that window of opportunity, but then what happens? You freeze or you overthink it, and then by the time you're done thinking, the opportunity is gone. So what's causing this fear? What's causing this paralysis? And how can you cure yourself from it? Okay, so in my study of this, what I discovered is the following. Your biggest blocker is confusion and overwhelm. Okay? The reason why you freeze in the moments where you should take action is it comes down to because you have conflicting information in your head, you're confused, and you're overwhelmed at the amount of information you've taken in. And then in that key moment, you're like, okay, well, this dating advice guy said this, and this other coach said this, and now should I do this? But I read somewhere that you shouldn't approach too fast. But then the other guy said use the 1 second rule and just go up. And what should I do? And then by the time you figure it out, boom, it's too late. So what stopped you isn't so much that you were scared of rejection, but that you were just confused and overwhelmed because you have all this conflicting information in your head. So the root cause is conflicting information and the volume of information. It's overwhelm. So we can demonstrate this with a great analogy of a lion and a 4-legged wooden stool. So back in the day, I don't know if they still do this, but back in the day with the lion tamer would use a simple wooden 4-legged stool to tame the lion. So anytime the lion was getting out of hand, the tamer would pick up the stool and point it at the lion. And then the lion would go docile. Why? Is the lion scared of a little wooden stool? Of course not. But then why is he rendered powerless in the face of a stool? The reason is because a lion perceives each foot of the stool as a separate threat. And when he sees 4 legs of the stool pointing at him, he gets overwhelmed. And his reaction to overwhelm is to just sit down and submit. And so that's what's happening with you. And so more information, the thing, again, it comes back to your strategy. You're sitting there and you're compulsively and obsessively accumulating more and more and more information because you have an equation in your mind that has fooled you into thinking that more information equals freedom. More information equals getting unstuck. But more information is causing you to be like the lion, where you're just ingesting more things that are going to confuse you and overwhelm you. So I had a client who, actually a lot of clients, they come to me and they're polluted. One of the first questions I ask is, how many other dating advice guys are you watching? Are you following? Okay, how many different coaches have you had? How many different dating coaches have you had? How many different dating programs? How many different ebooks have you read from different dating gurus or whatever, right? It's the first question I ask, because I know if you're coming to me with all that junk in your head, there's going to be a lot of conflicting information, because each person has a different method, a different philosophy, a different set of beliefs, a different approach. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to mix them all together, and then you are rendered helpless because now you're overwhelmed and you're filled with conflicting information. So when I get a client, okay, so I'm just gonna talk about one client. Let's call him Steve, because obviously I keep I keep the information confidential. Confidentiality is very important to me with my clients. But let's say Steve came to me, and he was just absolutely paralyzed with fear. He couldn't approach the women. He couldn't ask them out. He couldn't go on dates. He had all the theory. He had been studying this for 5 years, but still, he was still stuck. He was still terrified. And so what we did with him is, what I did is I said, okay, number one, you're going on an information diet. You are not allowed to watch another video, not allowed to read another article, not allowed to just you're going on a diet, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to clear up, we're going to get clear on who you are, what your personality type is, and what your values and beliefs are. And we're going to realign everything so that it fits in with you. You see, another problem is a lot of guys are trying to implement things that are not in harmony with their own values, their own beliefs, and also their own personality type. Hey, every person's different. You can't take an introvert and give him the same advice that you will give an extrovert. Their approaches are going to be very different. And so what I did with Steve is we did we got him on a massive information diet for many months. And then we just organized things, simplified things. I gave him simple exercises to do, got him back to the basics. And then lo and behold, he got unstuck. He is no longer paralyzed by fear. He's now able to have conversations with women. He is now going out on dates with women he's really attracted to. He has freedom, and he's so grateful you wouldn't believe, because he has his freedom back. And so there's a success principle that I want to share with you that I used with all my clients to get them unstuck, and it has been proven to work. And so the rule is this. Again, if you were multitasking, if you were being irresponsible, this is the time to pay attention, stop what you're doing, and take a note. 1 mentor, 1 system, 1 year. The way to get over your paralyzing fear is to clear all the confusion, the overwhelm, the clutter. You need to stick to 1 mentor, 1 system, 1 year. And if you don't like the word system, you can say 1 philosophy. Okay, 1 mentor, 1 philosophy, 1 year. And to make sense of this approach, if you're thinking, well, okay, how about if I follow like just only 3? Can I just follow 3 dating coaches instead of 1? Okay, let's break this down. Let's go back to Roger Federer. Okay. How ridiculous would it look if Roger Federer had 1 coach with 1 philosophy, but then he was going and dabbling with another coach in his spare time on another philosophy, and then a 3rd coach on another time? Don't you think those coaches all have different approaches? Don't you think that the reason why each one of those coaches' systems work is because it's a system? It's a closed system. You can't mix systems. Just like if I was going to tell you, we want to build an optimized car engine. Okay, we want to build a Honda engine. Would you go and start bringing Toyota parts and BMW parts and Mercedes parts and Ferrari parts and then Honda parts and try to mix them all together? Do you think you're going to have a solid high performance engine? Of course not. You're mixing systems. So the Honda system works on its own. The Toyota system works on its own. The Ferrari system works on its own. They do not mix. So it's the same thing. Okay, same thing. Maybe Roger Federer's coach is good, and then another tennis coach is good. But if you take half of the system of one coach and the half of the system of the other coach and you mix them together, you don't get a full system. What you get is conflict. You understand? What you get is incompleteness. So you're doing yourself a huge disservice by mixing systems, by mixing mentors. So the rule is, and there are studies to prove this, 1 mentor, 1 system, 1 year. And the catch is you need to give it time to take effect. You want to stick with 1 philosophy, you need to stick with it long enough to see that it works. If you keep switching back and forth every month, obviously you're not going to stick with it long enough to see the result. If you plant a seed, you have to wait before you harvest it. If you harvest the seed too soon, you're not going to get the result. And so I want you to really get serious. I want you to get serious as a professional athlete takes their career. A professional athlete takes their career very seriously. They get a coach, they surround themselves with a supporting team, they stick to 1 system and are faithful to that system. They keep things simple and they don't get distracted. So I think your love life is much more important than a pro athlete's career. And so why aren't you treating it at least as important as they're treating their careers? You're being haphazard, you're being lazy, you're being careless. This is your life. If you end up old and alone, whose fault is that? Where are you going to hide? There is no shade from regret. Don't be an asshole to yourself. Take responsibility, do what you have to do, and do things right. Because time is ticking by. How much more time are you going to waste? Every time you make a mistake, every time you do not use the right strategy, you are wasting your own time. And you don't know when you're going to meet your dream girl. So do you want to miss that opportunity when it presents itself? I don't think so. So this is a wake-up call. Grow up, start taking your life seriously, and start doing what you need to do. Because I know at some level you understand that what you've been doing so far is a bit irresponsible. So it's time to straighten up and smarten up for your own good. Nobody in your life is going to care enough about you to kick your ass. So I'm kicking your ass a little bit now for you, so you wake up. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to get the same result. Less is more. Focus. Stay faithful to one philosophy for 1 year and give your success time to emerge. Okay, so now we're on to strategy number 4, the silent killer. This silent killer is responsible for about 90 to 100% of men's failures. This silent killer is your blind spots. So, what is a blind spot? A blind spot is something that you cannot see. So usually the reason why men are stuck with women is because they're doing things that they're not aware of that's actually pushing women away from them. All right. And so why do we call it a blind spot? It's because you cannot see it. Okay. It's something you don't know that you don't know. So if you don't know that you don't know something, how can you figure it out? How can you find it if you don't know that you don't even know? So a lot of my coaching calls start like this, right? The guy comes to me and says, hey, Jad, I have ABC problems, such as, hey, Jad, I'm not getting women because I'm not confident enough, I'm not entertaining enough, and I don't know what to say. Okay. But then after about 2 or 3 minutes of talking to him, I realized, no, those aren't his 3 problems at all. His 3 problems are, for example, number 1, he's coming off a little bit creepy. Number 2, he's coming off pretty weak. And number 3, he doesn't have any, he's coming off very asexual. He doesn't have that sexual presence. And so women are not feeling attraction for him. Okay. But for the past 3 years, he's been working on how to become more confident, how to become more talkative, how to overcome his fear of approach anxiety, while those other 3 problems were untouched. You see? So the reason why it's your blind spot, it's because you don't know that that's the problem. You don't know what the cause is for your lack of success. Okay. So a great way to demonstrate this is, let's say you and I go to the biggest mall in the world and we're standing out in the middle of the parking lot. And I tell you, go get me the thing. Okay. Go to the mall and get me the thing. You say, what thing? I say, the thing. Go get me the thing from the mall. And then what you have to do is proceed to go into the mall, pick up a few objects, as much as you can carry, bring them out, and one by one you say, this thing? I say, no. This thing? No. This thing? No. Then you go back in and out, in and out. No, that's not it. Now, maybe if you're lucky, like 1 out of a million, you can go in and find the thing I was talking about in 10 minutes. And okay, you're the exception. Congratulations. But if you're the average person, you may spend years going in and out saying, this thing? No. This thing? And I say no. This thing? And I say no. And then, you could spend your entire life there, maybe not finding the one thing that I said, bring me the thing. Maybe the thing I'm thinking about is one of the rusted screws on the top left corner of the sign at the front of the mall. Okay. So you may figure that out. You may never figure that out. That's kind of what a blind spot is like. Now, of course, with a lot of trial and error and pain, men do eventually reveal their blind spots. But the cost of that is usually 3, 5, 10 years of, being stuck, missing opportunities, messing it up with a woman that otherwise could have been your future wife. So it's a very expensive thing to figure out on your own. So let's get back to an athlete. Athlete examples are very good. So what does an athlete do? What's the first thing an athlete does to go pro? He looks around and he hires the best coach he can afford. Why? Because that coach's job is to show him the technique, but then after that, it's to constantly correct him. Okay? If someone is having a problem with his backhand, the reason he's having a problem with his backhand isn't because he knows what he's doing wrong, is it? No, it's because he's unconsciously doing something wrong and he's trying to fix it, but it never works. So what does he do? He goes out and he researches who's the best tennis coach who corrects backhand, right? And then the coach comes and he watches the player for maybe a minute, maybe even under a minute, and immediately he sees, okay, I see what he's doing. First of all, when he's hitting the backhand, his back foot is in a wrong position, and that's carrying over to the rest of his body, causing his arm to be in the wrong position, and so the ball's always going low. I can also tell that when the player is hitting the backhand, his eyes are not looking in the right place, and because his eyes are not looking in the right place, that's also affecting his backhand. And also, the player is twisting his wrist a little too much, and etc., right? So the coach is there for the small details, because the devil is in the details. Everybody knows the broad strokes. Everybody knows, okay, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to say that, whatever, right? But it's the details that either make or break a situation. It's those details between getting a woman and losing a woman. So how ridiculous would you think Roger Federer was if he went through his career without getting that constant feedback, without having someone to reveal his blind spots? It would be ridiculous, right? Let's take another analogy. Let's say there are two young kids, okay? Young kids, age 10. One kid has the fortune of having parents who are well off, and they hire a coach for the kid. The second kid is broke, and so he can't afford a coach. So let's call Billy and Mike. Okay, so Billy has a coach, Mike doesn't have a coach. So who's gonna be a better tennis player after 1 year, after 2 years, and after 5 years? Billy or Mike? Obviously Billy, because Billy has the coach. He's getting that constant feedback. The coach is revealing blind spots to him on a daily basis, whereas the second kid who has no coach, he has to figure it out on himself, by himself, and in the end of the day, he's going to end up with a lot of blind spots, and so his progress is going to be very, very slow. So if you take two men who are trying to achieve the same thing, and one is having constant feedback on his blind spots, and one man who has no feedback on his blind spots, the man who's getting that feedback is going to be much faster and succeed a lot faster than the guy, again, who's going at it alone and who's not getting that feedback. So I like to compare it to a Ferrari versus a bicycle. So both paths will take you there, but which one will take you there faster? Obviously, when you're getting a lot of feedback on your blind spots. When guys come to me and they're stuck for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, that's the average is like 3 to 4 years guys are stuck. Why can I get them unstuck in only 1 month, 3 months, or 6 months? Why? Is it magic? No, it's because I revealed all their blind spots, and then they went out and took action, and then we revealed more blind spots, and then they went out and took more action, and then at every step, we kept revealing blind spots and kept elevating their performance. So you need someone to reveal your blind spots. Otherwise, you're on a bike instead of on a Ferrari. You're on a racetrack on a bike instead of being in the Ferrari. You want to be in the Ferrari, you need someone to reveal your blind spots for you. So the big strategy shift you need to make right now, if you've been stuck, is you need to get feedback. You need someone to reveal your blind spots for you. Okay? Operating without feedback is very low performance. You are guaranteed to fall behind if you are not having someone consistently revealing your blind spots for you. And the truth is, you've already fallen so far behind that it's time to hire someone or get an honest friend to help you catch up by revealing your blind spots. So feedback is another common problem why many men are stuck. The pattern is predictable. The guys who don't get feedback, their progress is ridiculously slow. Their stories are very sad. And a lot of them that I've been following and keeping in contact with have still been stuck for the past 3 years. Okay, it doesn't matter how many more videos they're going to watch. They need the feedback. They need their blind spots revealed to them. Okay, so we made it to strategy number 5. Invest in a mentor. Everyone should have a mentor. Mentoring brings 2 things: insight and accountability. Okay, insight meaning he reveals your blind spots. There are new insights in your head right now that would not have been there if you didn't make time for this webinar. So as I said before, when it comes to success with women, the devil is in the details. It's in the small things you either say or don't say, do or don't do, that either determines if you get a girl or lose a girl. And so no video or ebook can ever replace that. That requires interaction. That requires interaction between you and a mentor. A mentor identifies your blind spots. He gives you step-by-step action steps custom suited to your particular personality. And then he gives you constant course correction. Okay? So he observes you, he identifies your blind spots, then he says, okay, what kind of personality do you have? Okay, here are the step-by-step strategies that we can apply to your specific personality. Okay, here are the action steps. Go out and do this. Then you go out. You get some feedback, you get some results. You come back to your mentor, you say, okay, X, Y, and Z went well, but then A, B, C didn't go as I planned. Why not? And then you talk about it, and then the mentor identifies, okay, new blind spots. Oh, well, you said this, but you probably should have said that. Oh, you did this, but you pushed too hard. You probably should have been more laid back in this time, and so on and so forth. Okay, so these are your new blind spots to work on. Next week, you're going to go and do X, Y, Z. And then you just recycle the process over and over and over. Okay, so a mentor really helps you implement a proven system and saves you from figuring it out on your own. Henry Ford said this. He said, I have a desk, and on my desk are buttons. And anytime I need anything, I just have to press a button, and a man will appear who has spent his entire life being a specialist at one thing. And so I do not need to clutter my mind by learning different things. I just hire a specialist, I call them, they help me. So he outsources his brain power. He does not reinvent the wheel. And that's why he was hugely successful, because he understood that in order to be a huge success, you need to surround yourself with people who have the information and the know-how about the things that you need to support you in achieving whatever you're trying to achieve. So a good mentor will give you practical action steps custom suited to your particular personality and make sure you act on them. So accountability is huge. A lot of people, like I used to give free calls. Don't do that so much anymore. But I used to give free calls and I would say, okay, go do X, Y, Z. And the guy would be like, yeah, I'm going to go do it. I'm going to go do it and stuff. 6 months later, I check up with him. Did you do any of the stuff? No. Okay. So this happens all the time. Again, I've been observing people for 10 years. I've been a coach for 10 years. So people who don't have accountability do not take action typically. They do not. You check in afterwards and they're still where they were. So a mentor gives you accountability. A great mentor will also put together a powerful group of people all working towards similar goals. This multiplies everyone's effectiveness exponentially. Okay, so this is the part where I'm going to mention, I told you that there's a way to supercharge your success. So the mastermind principle states that when you put 2 or more minds together, you create a third mind that is more powerful than the 2 individual minds alone. So you're creating power. Now, studies have shown that we are the average of the 5 people we hang out with. And so we are the average income, the average success, the average weight, the average confidence. We are copying machines. We have mirror receptors in our brains, and we cannot help but copy the people around us. So this can work to your favor, or this can work against you. If you're hanging out with a bunch of losers, you're going to be mediocre. If, on the other hand, you take this principle and you intentionally hang around with people who have already figured this out, then that's going to speed up your success. So I've coined the term mastermind up. If you want to get good with women quickly, mastermind up. Get a mentor. Surround yourself with men who are already good with women, who have already figured this out. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can outsource the hard work. You can be smart like Henry Ford, push a button and have someone who has spent their entire life figuring this out, and then they give you the exact information and coaching that you need. So in my mastermind, we're having men who are going on a lot of dates, even men who are in polyamorous relationships, guys who've figured this out and gotten to a really good level, working right alongside other men who are just getting back into the game and, just having a refresher and getting started again. So everyone wins. So what you need to win: number 1, use the right strategy. Work smarter, not harder. Number 2, don't go at it alone. Those who go at it alone perish. Number 3, one system, one mentor, 1 year. Keep it simple. Stick to one philosophy. Stick to one teacher for 1 year. Number 4, get feedback to shed light on your blind spots. You don't want to spend years trying to figure out one thing when all the while your problem was another. And number 5, invest in a mentor. Because if you're watching this, you're probably around the age of 30 and you have no more time to waste. So it's time to get serious and get this handled now. So now you have a choice. You can continue doing what you've been doing in the past years, accumulating more information, putting on more legs to that stool and being like the lion, paralyzed in confusion and overwhelm. You can go out there, try harder, and expect a different result. Get your heart broken, accumulate more rejections, more heartbreak, and more pessimism towards women. And you can continue doing things alone and be the bicycle racing against the Ferrari. Or you can finally try something different. You can adopt a proven strategy that has worked for dozens of men just like you. You can mastermind up and turbocharge your success and finally get unstuck and start dating the women you deserve to date. So this is how I can help you. My team and I have set aside some time in the next 48 hours to speak to you personally about how you can apply these ideas to your dating life today. Whatever your biggest challenges are, I've seen it and I know how to overcome it. On the session, I will work with you personally to craft a step-by-step game plan to get you unstuck and get you dating the women you're truly attracted to. And the cost is absolutely free. But this isn't for everyone. Only a specific kind of man applies, okay? I'm giving my time, and so I have to be a bit strict with who I'm gonna help. So you qualify if you're 28 years old or older, and you're holding a full-time job and you basically have your life together. You need to be a man of integrity, and you got to be someone who's looking for a meaningful long-term relationship, okay? I want to talk to men who are ready to find the woman of their dreams. If you're just looking for casual dating and pickup advice, don't call me. This isn't for you. But if you qualify above, if you're 28 or older, you're holding a full-time job, you got your stuff together, you're a man of integrity, and you're looking for a long-term relationship with a special woman, if that's you, then book your session now. So I bet you're wondering, okay, why are you doing this? Why are you giving your free time away? Well, there are 2 reasons. The first reason I'm doing this is because I believe it's my duty to give back. I've been very blessed to date some of the most beautiful, sweet, amazing women in the world. And I was blessed enough to figure it out in time to enjoy my youth. And so I want to give that back. And the second reason I'm doing this is because I know that you might want my help to transform your love life. And if so, we can discuss it and see if it's a good fit for both of us. And if not, that's fine too. So go to jatjones.com/apply and book your free breakthrough session today. Spaces are very limited because obviously I'm giving of my own time. And so if you're at the point where you want to get this handled once and for all, then make a move, schedule a call, and we'll talk to you very soon. Thanks for watching. Take care.